On this lesson we're going to go back to Photoshop, and as you can see I just simply opened the file that I just exported from Illustrator, so I have it right here. It's my cat. What I'm going to do is go to the crop tool right here, and let's go to one of the corners, and while I press Alt so it scales around the center, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so I have a little bit more room. Now I'm going to go to my brush tool, and I'm going to select this brush that is called Chalk 36 pixels. You can change the size of the brush if you go to your open or close bracket, and it's going to paint something like this. So let me use my eyedropper while I press Alt and make this a little bit darker so you can see how that is going to be looking. Now, as you can see, let's go to this layer 9 where this square is. If I just start painting on that layer, but at first if I click here where it says lock transparent pixels, now I can only paint where the shape is. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to undo this by pressing Ctrl C. So you can see how I do that on my history. And I'm going to select all my layers and click here to preserve the transparency. Now I'm going to go to my move tool, and I would recommend that you click, or you check actually, this auto select box. That way if I click on an element on my canvas, it immediately selects the layer where that object is contained. So I'm going to select those lines, go and put them on top of the square, just go between them and press Alt to mask them. Now you can see how that shape is being masked on the square. Now that I have everything already, I'm going to begin with the ears. So I'm just going to make them a little bit darker, and I'm going to begin adding some shadows. And the painting style we're going to be using is a very simple one, so you don't need to worry too much. We're only going to assume that the light is coming from one direction and that everything is from the same material. So just do that on all these different shapes, the ears, the legs, and the tail. And then we're gonna click again on our brush and hold that click and go to make the mixer brush tool. And what we're gonna do is simply pass a little bit the mouse there to soften what we just did with the other brush. And you can see how I'm doing that. And I can also double click on this one and select a lighter color, go back to my brush tool and add a little bit of a highlight for all of these elements. So this lighter part is going to be on the opposite place than the other part, and again I'm going to go back to my mixer, and maybe there I'm not doing a great job there. So you could sample if you press Alt and just try to sample the color that you want to use, or the area that you want to sample in this case, until you get something that is soft like this. Or you could also like get a color, so I'm doing right here. Now let's go to our next layer and go back to our brush tool. Just click on it and select a darker color. What we're gonna do is just give it some darker color to this big square. And I'll go back to the mixer brush. And just mix the colors a little bit so you get this softer look. I could also add a lighter color. So go back to my normal brush or regular brush. Just apply a little bit there. Go back to the mixer brush. And blend it a little bit. Now we're going to keep working. We're going to work on the inside of the ears. So get a darker color. And let's go to our brush tool. And in there you can see that that is going to be a little bit hard. Also on the nose. And you can go back to your mixer. And keep just kind of blending the colors a little bit. Let's go and select the darker color for that part. And you could apply this color directly with the mixer tool. You can see that here I don't have to go back to the regular brush tool. I can apply that color just with the mixer and get a nice result. So it really depends on what you want or need. You could just simply apply this shadow with the mixer tool, but if you need like a little bit more, you could use the brush as we did on the beginning of this lesson and add it and then just blend it with the mixer. And as you can see, we're almost there. So what we're gonna do is create a new layer and let's add a background. You could make it white for now. And now you could select everything, press Ctrl T to transform and rotate it a little bit because I think it was a little bit twisted. Just rotate it until you think that your cat is working okay, in case you need it, because probably you didn't do like that. I'm going to create a new layer and fill it, but I'm going to go to the paint bucket and fill it with black. Then I'm going to filter, noise, add noise, and I'm going to make sure this is Gaussian and hit OK. Now I'm going to go to my blend modes right here and click overlay, and now you can see how that grain has appeared. And if I get a little bit closer, of course that is too much. I can reduce the opacity to something like maybe 20, so you can see it, but it's not that evident. And if you go and change the color, and let's say that I change the color to this red, you can see how the grain is also being applied to the background. Maybe that is something that you want, but if you want the grain to only be applied to your cat, you can select all your layers that are the cat and drop them to this folder to make a folder, and then just simply go between the folder and the grain and press Alt to mask it. And now you can see how the grain is being masked. In case that is something that you want, I actually want the grain to be in the whole cat. So with this, we have painted our first cat, and on the next lesson, we're gonna paint the other cat that we exported.